Hello Aries, Sun, Rising, and Venus, and welcome to your reading. So Aries, today we're going to go over your energy as well as your person's energy. We're going to see how the both of you are currently viewing this relationship and how you guys feel about it, and what actions you guys plan on taking each other's direction and are moving forward. So with all that being said, Aries, let's get started. How does Aries currently view this relationship? All right. Aries, so we do have the Star, we do have the Six of Cups, and then we also have the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so Aries, in regards to how you're currently viewing this relationship, you currently find yourself connecting with someone that makes you feel like they don't really value or appreciate you. And a lot of you feel like this person will never value or appreciate you until you get up and leave the marriage and a relationship that you share with this person, or this dynamic, right, that you share with this person, because this could be like a situationship you got going on. It's a possibility. Okay. All right, let's look at this person. Let's see how they're currently viewing this relationship. Okay, how does this person currently view this relationship? Alrighty then. We do have the Seven of Wands. We do have the Devil. And then we also have the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. I'm very curious to get like a court card here for this person. I mean, you could be dealing with a King of Swords like energy, or like a King of Wands like energy. I mean, it's a possibility, but you know, this person knows that they have a good thing, aka you. Okay. Queen of Pentacles is, man, Queen of Pentacles is considered to be the perfect partner card, you know? So that's kind of telling me that you possess a lot of qualities to yourself that this person really does value, appreciate, and absolutely loves. I am definitely getting that. I just think that it's one of those things where it's like they know that they have a good thing. They know that they have a good thing. I just kind of feel like they just don't value you and appreciate you as much as they should. Okay, is basically what I'm getting here off of this person's energy. But I do want to look a little bit deeper into this energy. So let's look at the Seven of Wands to the Devil. I knew it. I'm like, you're either dealing with a King of Wands or a King of Swords, like energy. Okay. All right. So let's talk. Let's talk. So currently at the moment, okay, you're dealing with a King of Wands like energy. So you're basically dealing with somebody who knows that they have a good thing. However, they just don't really know how to like value and appreciate you the way that they actually should. And how do I say this? How do I say this to you? I truly do mean that, Aries. Like, you're dealing with somebody who knows that, you know, they hit the jackpot with you. They know that, okay? This is something that they know. They know that they have a good thing, but they do not know, and I mean this when I say this, they do not know how to value, you know, and appreciate you, is basically what I'm gathering. So this is something that this person needs to learn how to essentially do. Now, according to them and the energy that they're harnessing, there's times where this person might treat you a certain type of way, and I'm not justifying their behavior by any means, but it is kind of stemming from a place of them essentially feeling like their good is just never going to be good enough for you. According to them, and I think this is a problem that anybody who harnesses King of Wands energy or even Queen of Wands energy has, you know, a difficult time accepting about themselves, okay? A King of Wands is somebody who has like this mentality of, oh no, there's nothing wrong with me. I don't need to change anything about myself. Everybody else is a problem but me. So a King of Wands typically suffers from this, and a Queen of Wands is also somebody who also typically suffers from this, where they think that they're not the problem, everybody else is the problem, right? So that's the issue here, right? Is that you might be pointing certain things out that this person does that you don't necessarily like or appreciate, or you will want them to essentially change about themselves, things of that nature. But you got to understand, you're dealing with somebody who doesn't think that there's anything wrong with them, or that there's anything that they need to essentially work on and or improve on, okay? So with that being said, they do view you as the actual problem here, not necessarily themselves, is primarily what I'm getting here. Now, I'm not saying that you're the problem or anything like that, but I feel like this person treats you in a specific way because they feel attacked by you, and they feel like their good is just simply not good enough, you know? They feel like you're constantly like nitpicking at things that they need to work on or change or improve, whatever have you. And that kind of puts them on the defense, because you got to understand that this individual, they have the mentality of there is nothing wrong with me. You know, you're the problem, they're the problem, but I'm not the problem. Like, that's the mentality that they have, if that makes sense. Like, you're very different from this person in that aspect. Like, if somebody were to tell you like, yo, Aries, like, you know, I really didn't appreciate, you know, the fact that, you know, you did this and this and this, you know what I mean? You're the type of person that'll sit there, reflect on your behavior or whatever it is that you did to cause that person to feel that way and correct it, you know what I mean? Them, on the other hand, like, if you were to approach them and tell them, hey, you know what, I really didn't appreciate that you did this, I didn't really appreciate that you did that, this is that type of person that is going to turn everything around on you and make it seem like you're the problem, and it's not them, okay? That's the problem. It's you that's the problem. You know what I mean? When in all actuality, technically speaking, it is them. Because the King of Wands is also known for somebody who is extremely immature, even for their age. So with that being said, yeah, I think that this person does a lot of, like, you know, immature things that you don't necessarily like or appreciate, and that you would want them to essentially work on. But again, you know, they have the mentality of there is nothing wrong with me. Everybody else is the problem but me. You know what I mean? So when you point something out that this person needs to work on, fix, change, whatever have you, it's like they instantly get on the defense, because they think that they're perfectly fine and there's nothing that this person needs to work on and or change about themselves. It's you and everybody else, basically. But you're not like that. You see what I mean? Like, you're very different from this person in that aspect. You know what I mean? Like, you're just different, you know? It's just, it is what it is. But how does Aries currently feel? Okay. You know, as much as you don't like the fact that this person doesn't really value or appreciate you in this dynamic that you guys essentially share with one another, and it kind of puts you at this point where you do want to essentially walk away, I feel like the main reason why you don't is because you see so much potential within them to become exactly who you need them to essentially be, and or want them to essentially be. And this is why you keep fighting, because you see so much potential within them. Now, I want to just kind of throw this out there really quickly here. Your person, they showed up as a King of Wands like energy. So I just want you to just kind of like get a rough idea of, you know, what I'm trying to say here and what you're basically up against when it comes down to this person that you currently find yourself connecting with. I just need to find the King of Swords. Also, too, don't get caught up in the gender. Nothing's gender specific. We all have masculine and feminine energy within us. So we could be talking about a female here, or, you know, a dude. You know what I mean, dude? Okay, so there's levels to this. So you're showing up as a Queen of Pentacles, so your true pair would be King of Pentacles like energy, right? And that's what you're striving for here, is for this person to become exactly what you know that they could essentially become, a King of Pentacles like energy, right? Now, with all that being said, you're currently dealing with a King of Wands like energy. So the King of Wands is like the first king that comes out. Then we have the King of Swords that follows. And then we hit King of Cups status. And then we hit King of Pentacles status. So what you want is a King of Pentacles like energy. What you currently have is a King of Wands like energy. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be remotely impossible for this person to become exactly what you need them to essentially become, because it is very much so possible. They just have to be willing to grow, mature, and evolve as an individual. Now, if this person's willing to grow and mature and evolve as an individual, you'll be able to eventually get your King of Pentacles like energy that you've been wanting and craving from this particular person that you currently find yourself connecting with. But I cannot emphasize this enough. Regardless if this person's willing to change or not, it is going to take you years. It's going to take you years before you get to have this King of Pentacles like energy that you've been craving and wanting from them. It's going to take you years, you know, and I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to take you, you know, weeks or months. It's going to take you years. Like we're talking about over 3 years, you know. And typically, I mean, going from like a King of Wands to a King of Pentacles, I mean, it depends on how long you guys have been together. Because if you guys have been together for like over, if you guys have been together for like over 5 years, I'm gonna be honest, dude. If you don't like what you currently have, you're never gonna like them. Straight up, you're never gonna like this person. Like, because I mean, that's the thing. It's tricky, right? Because it's like, if you have been with this person for over 5 years and they're still showing up as a King of Wands like energy, that is just who this person is. That is just who this person is. Immature and all. Like, that is just who they are. And it's either you learn to love them for where they're at and who they are, and to sort of just continue to like proceed forward, or you don't. You know what I mean? Or you don't. But if you've been with this person for like less than like, you know, 5 years, you know what I mean? Okay, there's potential there. There's potential. You know what I mean? There's potential for this person to become exactly who you need them to essentially become, and be exactly who, you know, this person needs you to, be exactly who you need this person to essentially be. But yeah, if you've been dealing with this person for over, because it looks like you've been dealing with them for quite some time now. So if it's over 5 years, what you see is what you get. If you don't like this person right now, you're not going to like them 5 years from now, because they're going to continue to be the same person that they are, because they're very fixed in their ways. So what you see is what you get. You know what I mean? But if this is somebody that you've been dealing with for like less than 5 years, there's room for this person to grow, mature, and evolve as an individual, because it typically takes like, you know, a King of Wands to transform into a King of Pentacles within like 5 years. So if you've been dealing with this person for, you know, more than 5 years, they just are who they are. If it's been less than that, you know what I mean? If it's been less than that, all right, there's still room for growth and improvement there. You know what I mean? But once you hit that 5 mark with this person and you're still experiencing this from them, that is just who this person is as an individual. So just like you're sick and tired of it, what's going to happen is that if this relationship were to come to an end, the next person they get involved with is going to be sick and tired of it. And the next person that they get involved with after that person is going to be sick and tired of it. And then, you know, the next person they get after that person, it's just going to be sick and tired of it. You know what I mean? Like, people are going to continue to get this version of them time and time again. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's not like, you know, if this relationship were to go south, they're going to go off and treat, you know, another woman better or another man better. You know, no, like they're going to continue to be this way in every and any relationship. You know what I mean? So it really does kind of depend on how long you've actually been with this person. It just depends. It really does, because I can see that you've been with them for some time now, but that could be like 6 months, you know what I mean? That could be that you've been dealing with this person for a year, you know what I mean? But if it's, I'm telling you right now, if it's over 5 years, it's either you learn to love them and where they're at in their life, or you don't. But you're not going to get like a whole new version of them like 5 years from now, you know, because this is just who they are, you know? So it really does kind of like depend, you know? It depends. How does this person currently feel? Come on. We have the Hierophant to the Justice card, and then we also have the Eight of Swords. This person might have Sagittarius within their chart. It's a possibility. The reason why I say that is because one thing that I've noticed about Sagittarians, and not that they're all like this or anything like that, because I've met like people that are like this that are not Sagittarians, But there's certain people, let's just get rid of the fact that I mentioned Sagittarius. The only reason why I mentioned Sagittarius is because Sagittarius is the epitome of freedom. They are the epitome of freedom. They don't like to feel confined. They don't like to feel restricted in any way, shape, or form. These people are the epitome of wanting to live a life that just feels like pure freedom to them, right? Anyways, there's certain people in this life that when they get into a relationship with somebody, they feel very confined and very restricted. You know what I mean? And they don't like that. They do not like that whatsoever. Within this dynamic that this person essentially shares with you, although, they love you and, they want to be with you, they feel very confined and very restricted. And here's the thing, right? Because the people that I've met, because I like to like pick people's brain. I don't know. Like I like to pick people's brain and ask questions. And why do you think the way that you think? And why you are the way that you are? I've always wanted to be a psychologist, but whatever. Nor here nor there. One thing that I've noticed about people who feel very confined and very restricted within a relationship is that most of them didn't really get the chance and or opportunity to like really experience life the way that they wanted to experience life. So the moment that they get into a relationship, it's like they instantly feel confined, they instantly feel restricted, they instantly essentially feel like that relationship is robbing them of experiencing life. You know what I mean? So this could, this can, symbolize, somebody who has jumped from relationship to relationship to the point where they've never really had any time to themselves. You know what I mean? To like find themselves, get to really know themselves, explore life, and new experiences without having, a relationship in their life. That's one thing that I've noticed, people who jump from like relationship to relationship and they don't really have any sort of like downtime, I guess, oftentimes feels like confined and restricted while being in a relationship, with a person. Anyways, so yeah, it just kind of looks like this person feels very confined and very restricted. And this could definitely, represent, somebody who didn't really get to, experience life to the fullest because they spent the vast majority of their time being in a relationship with somebody. That's definitely a possibility, strong possibility. Or it could be, that this person was constantly standing in their way. You know what I mean? Constantly standing in their way and not allowing themselves to essentially experience life, and it could be because they were standing in their way. It could be because of anxiety. It could be because of fear. It could be because of anything. And now it's furthermore being amplified now that they're in a relationship with you. They feel even more confined and restricted than they did when they were single, because they were allowing their, anxiety to get the best of them when they were single, which kind of robbed them of experiencing, new experiences, in life. So, that's another thing. That's another thing. Is that not only does this person feel like there's nothing that they need to change about themselves or work on, when it comes down to being in a relationship, they always feel confined and restricted, which could imply that this person just goes from relationship to relationship without having some like downtime. Like they spend the vast majority of their time being in a relationship with a person, which, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but it appears to me that if that's how they were living their life, it is in a way bad. It is in a way bad because it causes them over time to like grow like resentment towards the person that they're essentially with. You know what I mean? So anyways, in regards to how this person plans on, moving forward, we do have the King of Swords, we do have the Ten of Wands, and then we also have the Two of Swords. Okay, this person feels like they're under a lot of pressure is basically what I'm getting. Here's the thing, despite the fact that, this person feels like you're constantly nitpicking at things that they need to work on and or improve about themselves and they don't necessarily like it because, again, they don't think that there's anything wrong with them. You're the crazy one. You're the one that needs to work on this, that, and the third, not them. You know what I mean? Type of mentality. They also feel confined and restricted within a relationship. Could have a lot to do with the fact that they spend the vast majority of their time on this planet being in a relationship with someone and not really enjoying life or experiencing life, the way that maybe you were able to. That's another thing too. There's this energy of them essentially feeling like, I have to make this marriage work. I need to make this relationship work. I need to. I want to know where that is coming from. I want to know if they're saying this because they're codependent off of you. I want to see if they're saying this because they have a fear of experiencing another failed marriage and a relationship. I need to know where this is coming from. This whole, I need to make this marriage work. I need to make this relationship work. I need to know where it's coming from. Because if it's coming from a place of, I need to make this work because I'm not where I want to be at financially speaking, to dip out, on Aries, I'm gonna have a problem with that. And if that shows up, I'm gonna let you know that it's kind of looking like this person's just sitting around putting up all of this because they can't go anywhere else. You know what I mean? Because they don't have the financial means to do so. Okay. Or, it just kind of, if this is the case, it's implying that they're codependent off of you to a certain extent, to the point where they feel like, as much as they don't like this, that, and the third about you and the way that you treat them and talk to them and how they need to work on this, that, and the third, they could just be putting up with all of this because to a certain extent they're getting something out of this deal here. You're paying their bills, you're doing this for them, you're doing that for them. You know what I mean? So if that shows up, I'm gonna let you know. But if they're, harnessing the energy of, I need to make this marriage work, I need to make this relationship work, because I don't want to experience another failed marriage, I don't want to experience another failed relationship, and because, I love Aries, then, all right, if that comes out, I'll let you know. I'm hoping that more than likely comes out. But before I do that, let me put my phone on the charger because it's about to die on me. And we're back. Okay, so let's do this. I'm not going to take this. Tell me more about the Ten of Wands. Okay, so we have the Chariot, we got the Seven of Pentacles, we got the Knight of Pentacles, and then we also have the Hangman. Okay, we have the Five of Wands to the Tower to the Nine of Cups, and then we also have the Page of Swords. Okay, so in regards to this whole, I need to make this work, is primarily stemming from a place of them not being where they essentially want to be at career-wise or financially. Because when this person looks at their relationship with you, they look at this relationship with you as something that's extremely toxic and unhealthy. For them, they look at it as something that is like robbing them of experiencing life to the fullest and, just overall being happy. That's how they look at their relationship with you. Now, I find this to be very interesting, right? Because not to say that they don't have the right to say like, yo, this relationship is making me feel like X, Y, and Z. It's not that they don't have the right to feel that way, because they definitely do. And if that is their experience and how they feel, it is what it is. However, all this relationship really is doing is making this person grow and evolve and mature. That's the only thing that this relationship is doing. Like, it's pushing them to grow and evolve as an individual. And I don't think that they see that. Like, I don't think that this person sees that. I don't think this person understands that. I think that they're looking at this entire situation, with you through the wrong lens, to be completely honest. They look at this dynamic that they share with you as something that was just sent into their life to like piss them off and, tear them down and rob them of new experiences and their happiness and their joy. And it's like, no, not really. No, not really. Like, it kind of looks like this relationship was sent into this person's life to help them grow and evolve as an individual, but they're not seeing it that way. But it is what it is. It is what it is, because it just kind of looks like this person is like, but that's, I don't even know. Because I don't even know what this person's doing, to be honest. Like, I'm just like at a loss, to be honest, because the reason why I'm like, I don't even know really what this person's doing is because here's the thing. do I see this person realizing, you know what, I need to really start taking my education seriously because I need to get this degree, man. I need to get this degree. I need to be in a financial situation where I could be able to take care of myself, pay my bills by myself, do this, then the third by myself, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it's with the intentions of the moment you piss this person off, they can easily get up and leave you type of shit. You know what I mean? Now, here's my thing when it comes down to this person. Even though their plan sounds phenomenal, I guess, is it going to really, really work? I'm going to go ahead and say no. And I feel like it has a lot to do with the fact that this person doesn't really know how to be self-sufficient. They just don't. You know what I mean? They never really had to. Again, it kind of looks like this person has always had somebody in their life, like helping them out to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Taking care of them to a certain extent. Like, so with that being said, they're basically striving to be somebody that they've never been before, which is somebody who's very independent, self-sufficient. They could do everything by themselves. You know what I mean? They don't know how to do that because they've never had to do that, because they've always had somebody in their life, whether it be a romantic interest, family member, whatever have you, to help them out and be there for them. Now the reason why I'm just like, I don't see how this is going to work out is because I think that this person thinks that being very independent, self-sufficient, doing it all by yourself, I think that this person thinks that this is something that's very, very easy to essentially do. Anybody can do it. And of course, anybody can do it. You just got to want it bad enough. And the problem with this person is they don't want to be this independent, I want to pay all my bills all by myself. I don't want to rely on anybody but me. Like, they don't really want that type of life bad enough. So no, I just don't see them accomplishing that. You know what I mean? Because the moment this journey starts to get challenging and difficult for them, they're going to start to find themselves feeling like, yo, like, this sucks. Like, this is too much freaking work, man. You mean to tell me I gotta do this, that, and the third just to pay all of my bills all by myself? You know what I mean? I gotta do all of this by myself. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Because they've never had to do that. They've never had to do that. They've always had somebody there, by their side. So to go from living a life of constantly having somebody there by your side, family member, whatever, romantic interest, whatever have you, to just doing everything all by yourself, oh Lord, that's like, not to say that it's impossible, but because it is possible, they could pull it off. But it's like the moment that this journey starts to get difficult and they start to realize how challenging and difficult it actually is to do everything by yourself, they're not going to want it. You know what I mean? Because in their eyes, it's far more easier to just put up with a person's shit and have that person help you to a certain extent than to do everything by yourself. They're going to look at it as like, it's like a lot more easier to do it that way. But it's a lot more peaceful to do this, right? Just to not rely or depend on anybody and not have to tolerate anybody's crap. You know what I mean? Not saying that you bring crap into their life, because I don't believe that you do, that's just the wild part. I don't think that you bring like toxicity into their life. I just think that there's certain things that you're noticing about this person that they need to essentially work on and improve on. And instead of them looking at it through the correct lens, like, okay, Aries, like, they're just like trying to like, help me, grow and evolve as an individual. They're not trying to attack me. They're not trying to do this. They're not trying to do that. Like, this relationship would be awesome. It would be great. You know what I mean? But they're looking at all of this like, oh, like, you're just trying to make my life miserable, Aries. Like, and you're like not really trying to do that. You just want this person to see like, yo, like, the way that you are is not like healthy for you. It's not healthy for me. It's not healthy for this relationship, Anyways, so moving forward, I think that you're going to notice the relationship, quote unquote, improving between the two of you. There's going to be less fighting, less arguing, things of that nature. And you're going to notice this person being far more like, open and receptive to things and, things of that nature. you're going to start to notice a slight change within them, which is going to cause you to be under the impression that the relationship in itself is improving. It's not that it's improving. This person is just essentially realizing, you know what, if I don't like the fact that Aries does this, if I don't like the fact that Aries does that, I need to put myself in a position to be able to walk away from it and not have to deal with it anymore. Hence why they're going to be more focused on their money, more focused on their career, and that's going to consume more of their time than you and this dynamic that they share with you and arguing, with you back and forth. They're also coming to terms with the fact that arguing with you is not going to change their reality, okay? It's not going to change their reality. Hence why they're going to be more focused on their career, things of that nature. Like I said, it's going to cause you to perceive that the relationship between the two of you is essentially improving, when in all actuality, it's not improving. They're just choosing to not fight and argue with you anymore because it's not going to change anything. Things are just going to continue to remain the same. They're just choosing to focus more of their time and energy towards whatever it is that they can to help them get themselves out of this entire situation that they currently find themselves in with you. But to be honest, are they going to successfully leave the dynamic? I'm going to go ahead and say no. I'm going to go ahead and say no. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. We have the Knight of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, so the Four of Wands. At the bottom of the deck, we do have the Ten of Cups. We do have the Four of Swords. And then we also have the Eight of Cups. No, I don't think they are. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. This person's not going to... Because like I said, as they're on this journey, like this is what this person wants, right? They want to be able to put themselves in a situation where they could be able to take care of themselves and pay all of their bills and not have to rely on a man or a woman for absolutely anything and just do their thing, right? And not have to deal with somebody stressing them out, pissing them off, dry humping their last nerve. That is their ultimate goal here. Are they going to accomplish and achieve this goal? No. Because the moment that it starts to get challenging and hard, is the moment that they're going to start to find themselves essentially feeling like, you know what? I just rather have somebody in my life that's going to like pay my bills, okay? Just pay my bills, and pay this and pay that and take care of this and take care of that. So that I don't have to do it all by myself, because like, this is like too hard. Like, I don't want to do all of this by myself. Like, this is not easy. Like, because especially if this person's like a parent, you know what I mean? Like, being oh my God, I remember the first time I was a single mom. I'm just like, I don't know how these women do it. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, whoa, this is freaking hard, man. Like, this is freaking hard. Oh my God, the first time I became a single mom, I was like, oh my God. I thought that this was going to be like, I thought this was going to be easy. This is going to be a walk. It can't be hard. I mean, look at all these other women out there doing it. I could do it too. You know what I mean? Holy shit. I was like, what in the world did I just sign myself up for? But I would say I think that it took me like a good 2 years to be like, all right, boom, I got this. And I didn't even think it would even take me that long, because it was hard. It was so hard because I was so used to having my child's father like around and helping me out with this, helping me out with that. And then it's like, I only had that every other, how often was it? Every other weekend? Yeah, every other weekend or something like that. At the time it was like something like that. Every other weekend. Like, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy by any means. So I mean, I get the whole like where they're falling into this energy of, dude, I'd rather just stay. I'd rather just stay and just like, I just rather just stay because it's just easier that way. And in a way, I can see what they mean, how it's like easier that way. I just didn't want to put up with the man's stuff anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I don't want to do this shit no more. So that's why I was like, I would just be tough and just see this through, because it was hard, dude. It was very, very hard. But I was like, I'm not going back to dealing with this, that, and no, ma'am. You can pay me to do that. But this, I think that it's very telling too, because it's like, because it looks like this person is definitely not going through what I went through. Like, I was to the point where I'm just like, I do not want to deal with this man's stuff. Have you ever been with somebody and you're just like, you're trying to get other people to take that person that you're with away from you? Like, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation like that, but that's how bad it was, where I wanted another woman to come along and take this man away from me. Like, that's how bad, to the point where like we were out, I'm just like, You know, like if he found himself looking at a girl for 2 hours, I'm like, you want me to go get her number for you? And it wasn't coming from like a jealous place. Oh no, like lady, you want to take this man from me? Please do, but do me the favor. I will pay you. You know what I mean? Like, but whatever. That's whatever. But you know, I think it's very telling because we don't see that coming from them. Like, we don't really see this person like, oh my God, oh my God, I have to get away from Aries. Oh my God, I just have to. I just can't live life like this. It's like, no, I just think that there's certain things that you do that dry hump their last nerve, but they are nowhere near what I was going through. That's one thing I will say, and it's a good thing too. It's a good thing because I think that when they start walking this path of, I want to be independent, I don't want to deal with a man or a woman ever again, I just want to be independent and single and free and pay my bills all by myself. It's like, yeah, once they start walking that path and they start to see how challenging and difficult it is, they're like, you know, I'm just going to stay right here. I'm going to stay right here. Because now I think about it, Aries is not a handful to deal with. They're not asking for much because you're not. And I think that I think that that's when, you know what I mean, this person's going to start to realize, you know what, I do need to work on this, you know what I mean? I do need to work on this, and I do need to work on that, and you know what, I should really like, you know, stop allowing this to get the best of me or that to get the best of me and really work on overcoming that so it's not affecting my relationship with Aries anymore. Like, they gonna hit that point. They will eventually become who you need them to essentially be. I just think that they need to go down this journey first of, you know what, I just want to just get my financial situation in order and be independent and free myself from this. And once they start walking that path and they start to realize how hard and challenging it is, you know what I mean, it's going to cause this person to kind of, you know, realize a few things about their relationship with you. You're not asking for much. You're not asking for much, but you would think, you know, that this person, you would think that this person would be basically looking at you like, oh my God, Aries, you're just asking for the moon and the stars here. You know, you're asking for too much. It's like, you're not really asking for much. If this person were to put in the work to, you know, change whatever it is that you need them to change about themselves or work on whatever it is that this person needs to work on, it's just going to improve. It's just going to improve them. It's going to improve them, and it's going to improve the relationship. You're not, you know, getting this person to do something that's not going to improve their life. You're getting this person to do something that's going to improve their life, and it's going to naturally, you know, improve their life with you. You see what I mean? So, you know, then there's that. But yeah, that's what I have for you. Hopefully the reading helped. Hopefully it resonated, and I will see you guys